And hello, hi, how you going? And here we are today in beautiful Mondo Rock, Mondo, and this is a lookout. And actually the lookout, they lied to me, the lookout is actually 10 kilometres, there's a sign up there, 10.6 kilometres walk from there. It looks like a track, Billy Oates track, so you can't really go by car. I don't know. Well, it looks like you might be able to go by car, but it's raining, and I am getting very experienced at getting stuck in, and imagine being stuck up in there, not even near the main road. Here's my little beast monster that I set up within 2 days, an afternoon. The solar took me a couple of days, but that was inside. But actually making it and putting it together, drilling it in, drilling all the bits and pieces in, it took me an afternoon to make the bed and all that. And I put a futon in, and I put 3 bolts into that, and I put my solar up and put my spare tyre up, and by the next day I was out of there. I'm back down south, back further south. Weather has thwarted our ambitions to go further north up to Cairns. It just looks too risky. So after my 6-day fast last week, that I completed last Friday, spent the last few nights celebrating with pizza and beer, and you have setbacks with this sort of thing, but as long as your main drive is in place and you can go back to it and renew without damage to your moral integrity of what you're doing, which is fasting. Being a diabetic, I've been to the doctors and I've talked to those people, and they want to put me on statin and actually give me more insulin. That's the treatment. That's the treatment for people with diabetes, because you get insulin resistance. Your long-suffering fat cells are sitting there going, no more. Stop giving me insulin and stop storing that sugar into me. I don't want to anymore. I'm too engorged. It's enough. And it takes energy to push that in. So what they do is they give you more insulin. You eat a meal and you get your insulin spike from your pancreas, and what they tell you to do is to inject yourself or take a pill. I'm not sure which one it was for the statin. Inject yourself. And and you get these blubbery things going on wherever you inject yourself at the site. I can't remember the name of what the technical medical name for it is, but you get this blubbery sort of outgrowth where the injection site where you inject yourself, and it's just doesn't make sense. You're insulin resistant, so. And the reason why you're insulin, the problem is that you're eating too often. You're eating too much and too often, and you're eating carbs and you're eating sugars, and you're spiking your insulin 3, 4, 5 times a day. 1 piece of watermelon, insulin. And that takes 2 or 3 hours to remove all the sugar out of the blood, which is what the insulin's job is and why it's there, why it's created. And to get that sugar out, it needs to be stored. Don't ask me why the body doesn't poop it out if it doesn't need it. Why doesn't it do that if it's so clever? If the body's so miraculous and clever, why do we get insulin resistance at all? Why don't we just poop it out? I don't know. But I think it's a survival mechanism. That's, for millions of years, you don't poop out energy. That's ridiculous. You store it, and awake the next time you don't get to eat for a month because the weather, or you're living in a cave or whatever. So that's the archaic old strategy of the body. That's what it is. That's what we're dealing with, and that's why it stores it, because it keeps it. Energy, it doesn't throw energy away. So they give you that statin, and that forces it puts more pressure, not only your own insulin after a meal, but because you're insulin resistant, because your fat cells are going, no more. We can't handle any more of this shit. Instead, they tell you after the meal to give yourself even more insulin so you can force your fat cells to accept that sugar. It just blows my mind. And no wonder the Diabetic Association of Australia considered diabetes to be irreversible. You're dead. Eventually you're going to die. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and you're going to die. But it is reversible. It is simple and it's reversible, and you can reverse it too if you feel that you are suffering certain symptoms. You're not sure what it's about. It's a modern Western disease, and it's happening in all places. It's happening in China and India too, and in Indonesia, because they eat a lot of rice, carbohydrates. Rice is all sugar. It's all complex carbs. There's nothing but a chain of sugars. And bread, it's all not very good. Well, it's good, but not too much of it. Fruit, you wouldn't believe it, would you? You wouldn't believe it. Took me to get it into my lunk head that fructose is a poison. When you fast, everything shuts down. You don't have to worry about, literally, you don't poop. You don't poop. You don't have to wipe your bum, and living in a van, you got to find a place to poop, find a clean place, because they've got some of those drop toilets in Australia, and there's mozzies and flies flying up into your bottom, and they stink and all that sort of stuff. And so you got to find places, and when you fast, nothing's coming in. You don't poop for days. You literally don't have to worry about pooping, and you don't have to worry about going to the shop. You don't have to worry about spending money. I've saved $150, and no alcohol, no food. Are you kidding? And takeaway. I used to spend on takeaway. McDonald's shares in Australia. McDonald's Australia the shares must be plummeting because I'm not buying anymore, because I must be one of their biggest customers. The beauty of fast, it's free. I went to that damn doctor and I sat there in the waiting room. You waste a half an afternoon. They make you wait, and then you get in and you feel nervous and scared what he's going to tell you. And here's the prescription. You got to spend $70 because you're sick. You're sick, and you got to go spend that money now and buy some crap and put it inside you. All this evaporates. All this disappears by treating the problem, not the symptom. And that's what they're doing, the doctor and the Diabetes Association and all those clever people. I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I don't think it is. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think they've got their hearts in the right place. But there's money in it. There's no money in teaching you how to fast or convincing you that fasting is the best thing for you. In fact, they tell you to eat several meals a day. That's what they tell you to do. Eat less, move more, and eat less and move more, and eat smaller meals throughout the day. And that's the worst possible advice, because you are now you are spiking yourself every few hours, just when all the sugar is out of your system and the insulin's done its job, and your poor fat cells are engorged with more converted sugars into fats, and you eat again, and you get the muffin, or you get the lunch, or you get the snack, and it's only a little bit. It's only 200 or 300 grams, and it's only 150 calories, but you spiked your insulin, and that's the problem, and that's what's causing obesity, and that's why diet and exercise don't work, because it's a hormonal approach, and most people who are fat are diabetic or pre-diabetic, like myself. And with a little help, 1 week will change your life. You watch this. Last week changed my life already. I'm renewing my commitment to health, and that's what I'm doing. And so let's see what happens in the next week. I will, of course, waffle on about other matters as well as I discuss the fast as we go in the next 5 days, 6 days. See how far I can go. Maybe I can go to 10 days. I mean, I could go, but if you saw my last video, there are problems. I have insomnia, especially because I don't drink the alcohol. And without alcohol, it makes it a little harder to get to sleep. All I know is I'm not getting to sleep when I should be at about 11 or 12 o'clock. And I'm not. And I'm staying up till 4 or 5 a.m. The sun's coming up. I'm going, oh my God, how am I going to have a day if I've spent it all awake? I'm going to have like 5 hours sleep, which is what happens. I get about 5 hours sleep and then I'm a mess. And the other thing I talked about in my last video on fasting was that I got that itchy keto rash, and that's gone. And that's gone because I went nuts and had a few pizzas and had a few beers, and it's reversible. It totally went away. But let's see if this time it comes back. Let's guinea pig myself and see if this time it comes back after a few days. these first few days are going to be the hardest, and if you're with me, leave a comment and tell me that you're fasting too, right this minute today. Make the decision and fast with me for the next 5 to 10 days. And if I don't get the keto rash this time, and if I somehow discover a way to get my sleep properly, because that's when it all happens. That's when the magic happens, when you're sleeping. When you're sleeping is when the fat burning occurs, and you lose weight. And you wake up, every morning you wake up with a delighted excitement to feel around, because I don't weigh myself, but I just feel around, and everything feels taut, even though it's chubby still, but the fat is smaller, and therefore it's more taut. It's sort of rubbery, hard fat. It's not gooey, watery sort of fat. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now, and I might stay at this beautiful place. I don't think I'll walk 10.5 kilometres to have a look at some trees in the distance, but it's probably beautiful. I'm sure it is. I'll look it up on the internet and look at the pictures. I think it's too far to walk. I'm not big on exercise because of my age. I don't want to have a heart attack or something. Maybe when I get thinner, I'll get back into push-ups. But I might stay here because it looks pretty deserted right now, and everyone's worried about the drowning and the rains and stuff. So it might be a bit spooky tonight, but thank God for that toilet, because I was constipated today and I've had 3 tries. And this toilet was so beautiful. It's just it's one of those toilets for people with wheelchairs. So it was very open and there was no one around, which I'm easily distracted. If I hear voices or something while I'm concentrating, while I'm trying to get things moving, I often can't. And so this toilet, I didn't make that mess, by the way, but it was already there. I'm not cleaning that up, bugger that. But it was just so big and open, I could lock it, and there was no one here. And I finally made it, and this constipated log came out, and it was all over Red Rover, and I feel so much better now. And sorry, I don't know, maybe I'll cut that bit out, I don't know. Yeah, so fast with me and let's get going. Let's do this. Let's reverse diabetes, and let me show you how.